Prayer is an essential part of the Alpha guest experience, and it's introduced gradually to guests through several specific moments. There are 4 key moments of prayer that I want us to look at. First, during the first few sessions, depending on which series you're watching, there may be a short prayer led by one of the presenters at the end of the talk. This is intended to give guests a chance to privately pray along if they'd like to. Next, during session 5, small groups are encouraged to end small groups with a short time of prayer. This session is called Why and How Should I Pray? So guests will have already heard a talk about prayer and had time to discuss it. The small group hosts might simply say a short prayer after discussion or give guests an opportunity to try praying out loud for someone else in the group or for something that's on their heart. Following week 5, hosts can end the rest of their small group discussions just like that. And as a side note, on Alpha, I'd encourage you not to pray before the meal or to begin and end each session with prayer. This allows it to be introduced thoughtfully in small groups and to be explained to guests as it comes up. The 2 other unique moments for prayer are on the Alpha weekend and the session on healing. The Alpha weekend seems to be the point where we see the most life change happen. It's a chance to get away from the busyness of our lives where people can take time to relax and to think, to have fun together, and if they're up for it, to experience prayer ministry. The talks on the weekend focus primarily on the person and work of the Holy Spirit, and they're designed to set the stage for a time when people can pray and be prayed for by a host or helper. Romans 5:5 says that God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who's been given to us. This verse highlights why the prayer times on the Alpha weekend are so important. We want to give people the opportunity to experience God's love as He fills their hearts by His Spirit through prayer. There's a bit of thought and planning that will go into your Alpha weekend or day away. So we have 2 other leader training sessions to walk you through it. The first one unpacks the details from a coordination perspective, and the other will give you specific ideas and instructions for leading these times of prayer. The session on healing is the last of the more significant moments for guests to experience prayer. After the talk on healing and a time of discussion, we encourage small groups to give it a shot and pray for healing. It's often in those prayer times that God surprises us by what He does in people's hearts and in their bodies. Now, I can find myself nervous going into these sessions, wondering if God will show up and what might happen. But I'm always amazed by the way God works. It's never the exact same, but God always touches lives and reveals Himself in such special ways. The 3rd team training session is on prayer ministry, and it will equip you and your whole team with some really simple ways to pray with others and to facilitate these different opportunities for prayer. One of the foundational values of running Alpha is to be reliant on God, and prayer is the greatest expression of that value. So take a minute to consider how you'll approach each of these different moments for prayer. Pray that guests would connect with God and experience His love in a life-changing way.